In this demonstration, I'll show you how to use the Bill of Materials costing version form from the Periodic folder. So I'm here in Inventory Management, and then under Periodic, I'll expand Bill of Materials and open up Costing Versions. Here you can see the costing versions. You'll notice that the new and delete icons are disabled. However, you can still access the prices by clicking the price button and selecting item price, cost category price, or indirect price. The same buttons and features are available. It's important to note that when you use the calculation button from inside of the item price form, you're only capable of running a calculation for one item. Typically, companies will use the calculation button on the outer version of the form on the costing version maintenance form to mass calculate the BOM calculations for many different items at the same time. So let's go ahead and click that button and I'll show you how this works. In this case, you'll notice that no item is selected. The costing version is automatically selected and all the options based on the costing version are automatically chosen. You'll need to select the site. And in this case, you'll notice checkboxes exist to indicate whether or not you want to calculate production order cost prices and purchase order cost prices. You can specify here whether you want to overwrite or only insert missing items. There's also a checkbox to indicate that you want to update the where used. This will limit the list of calculated BOMs to only those that consume items with pending costs. When you mark this checkbox, the item selection buttons on the right are disabled. So if you want to filter for specific items, you cannot use the where used update. Typically, when you run this in mass, you'll want to use the select button to filter down to a subset of items. However, if you wanted to run a calculation for every item in your entire system, you can do it by not entering any criteria here. So if I wanted to just run a few items, I can list those items out with commas and then click OK. On the other tabs in the BOM formula calculation results form, you can update the options just like you can in the item price form. When you're running a large group of BOM calculations, you'll want to consider using the batch processor, as the BOM calculation process can be a time-consuming process when you're processing large quantities of items. Because I've only selected 2 items, I'll go ahead and clear this option, and then we'll click OK. Now that the BOM calculation is complete, you can open up the item price form to view the details of what was calculated. They'll display on the Pending Prices tab. So here you can see the cost price and sales price for the item that we selected have been calculated. In this case, the price has calculated as 0. This indicates to me that the components in the bill of material for this item are not configured with a cost price. So I would need to go enter a cost price for those component items. You can still use the calculation, summary, complete, and print buttons just like you can on the item price form when you access it from the released products. When you're finished with your BOM calculations, you can close the window. If you choose to activate from the costing version maintenance form, it's important to note that AX will activate all of the pending prices in the item price form. I'll go ahead and click that button now to show you the options. Here you can select which type of costs you want to activate. You can select purchase, sales, and cost price. You can also activate net weights and rate and ratios, which are used with indirect costs and the costing versions. You can also validate the from date. So if you choose this option and the from date on the active lines is not valid, you'll receive a warning message about that. There's also an option here to abort the activation if an error is received. If this option is chosen, the costing version will not activate until all lines have resolved all errors. The last checkbox here allows you to recalculate the estimated cost for material and time consumption for production orders. You can use the Select button to filter this down in the event that you don't want to activate all prices in the current costing version. Again, this can be a time-consuming process, so you may want to consider using the Batch Processing checkbox. When you're ready, you'll click OK. I'm just going to cancel this because I don't want to activate all of these prices. It's important to note as well that you will not be allowed to activate if the block activation field is set to yes. You cannot change that value when you've accessed the form from the periodic folder. However, it can be updated when you access the costing version maintenance form from the inventory management setup area. When you're done, you can close the window.